While watching this particular video of a policeman allegedly fighting with a taxi driver, several things went through my mind as I watched this. And I want us to have a discussion as to why things like this would be happening and what can be done in order to make people safer on the roads. Here are my thoughts. Now, as you watch this video, what apparently is happening here, the policeman allegedly stopped this person and then got into the vehicle, and of course there was some discussion, but now at the point where the video is showing, these two are fighting. What could have driven this? Now, reading from part of the comments of where I originally saw this particular video, this is not uncommon on the roads. Now, there are several things that need to happen in order for such things to stop happening on the roads. Number one, which I think will have the biggest impact, is that Kenyan traffic policemen and women need retraining. And they need retraining on soft skills. Traffic police is probably the one branch of the police that interacts with Kenyans the most. And the thing that happens here is that the traffic police is probably the least liked of the police forces, of any branch of uniformed forces. And I'm including even prison wardens here. But the reason this is happening is because you have a way of choosing uniformed officers that does not take into account that they are supposed to be helping people. It will not be uncommon to see a traffic policeman shaking hands with an operator of a public service vehicle. And that means that there is a culture that is there in the traffic police that actually needs to drastically change. That's the first thing. And this training needs to come from outside of the forces and not police training each other. And the reason for this is the only way that the police will actually be able to do their work of keeping law and order is if they are in good terms with the people they have been given the mandate to serve and protect. The common thread is that there is a problem within the traffic police, and that needs to be taken care of. And it's not just on the road, it's also at the station, and it all the way to the very top. Because culture always stems from the top all the way to the bottom. There is nothing that happens on the roads that those people in the corner offices in the police force do not know. And so that needs to change. The second thing that needs to happen is a mass education on traffic laws. The reason why there are so many cases of people complaining about traffic police is because they take advantage of the fact that so many people are either ignorant of the laws that exist, or the police use either repealed or obscure laws to be able to try and extort money from unsuspecting drivers. And this is the crux of why there is a lot of mistrust between the public and the police. If this can be sorted out, if even police can be the ones handing out the traffic code to every single driver that they meet, so that drivers can be able to know this and this is what the county law on traffic says, and this is what the national law on traffic says, so that you can be able to beforehand be aware of what is happening and be able to just keep yourself safe on the road. The third thing is there needs to be a restructure of how traffic offenses are dealt with. Having been a customer of the law once before, there are two ways that this is usually handled. And there's this scripture in Matthew that says, whenever you meet your accuser, make sure that you sort yourself out before you get to the court of law. And that's a scripture that I think is taught at the traffic police training. But the major point is this. So many people prefer to go the bribe route than have to go to court. I have been to court because that day I decided I am not bribing. But what happened is once I reached Milimani Law Court, it was this haphazard way of treating an offense. And in traffic court, everyone pleads guilty in traffic court. Because if you don't, then you will still need to pay money so that you show up for your court case. And that is another day that feels wasted. Ideally, it should be easier to comply with the law than to have to break the law in order to just get out of a jam. And that is something for you to think about.